It's time for a Humans in Tune conversation with Darren on 93.9 Mike FM.
Yes, indeed. It is time for another Humans in Tune conversation, hanging out, talking about shows at Scout Hall tonight. And it's a late night Humans in Tune. For those of you who normally see this at, the middle of the day, we like to just dance around. All kinds of fun. And here we're in an after dark conversation. But the Underground Jazz series, we've had several conversations along this series, some fantastic musicians that have come through, and today's guest is no exception to the rule. We have brought in Jose Gobbo. Jose, a fantastic guitarist. He was born and raised in Brazil, a jazz guitarist who draws from the rich musical tradition of his homeland, weaves Brazilian rhythms and melodies into the fabric of jazz. His unique style is informed by a global perspective, shaped by performing internationally and collaborating with world-class musicians. He is a graduate of the Berklee College of Music, just a little place for musicians. And he's got an incredible technical prowess and an ability to infuse his music with heartfelt storytelling that gives him such a well-rounded performance. I'm excited about it, and I'm excited to have in the studio with me today Jose Gobbo. Welcome to Mike FM's Humans in Tune, man. Good to see you.
Hey, Darren. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you. Good to be here.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's good to have you. I am excited about this show. Like we talked a little bit before we went on air, we've done several shows throughout this Underground Jazz series. We've gotten to see some incredible musicians, in all types of different instrumentations. You are a guitarist by nature, by trade, by genetic predisposition, I think, with the level of skill you got. You and Felipe, now Felipe's bringing you in for this show. You and Felipe Brito, who is our CMO Director of Jazz Studies here at the university, has kind of helped facilitate this along with Gary Rust and the crew at Scout Hall. So what did he dangle on a string to say, hey, you want to, come to Cape Girardeau, Missouri and do this show with us?
Well, I mean, I'm always looking for opportunities to play,
Mm-hmm.
So, and Felipe and he brought me there a few times already. I tried to bring him to Illinois a few times, but he's too expensive to bring to.
Yeah, he's got that new album to pay for, right? So
right.
Yeah.
Hey, and Darren, let me correct one little thing.
Yeah.
I love the introduction and so whoever wrote the thing got a little excited about Berklee. I did not go to Berklee. I've never been to Boston. I don't know where that popped up. So that was funny.
Well, that's why I was trying to figure out how you and Felipe were friends, unless it was just from Brazil, or South American music.
No, we know each other from Brazil. Yeah, I did go to the university. I went to the University of Iowa for my master's and the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign for my doctorate, but never Berklee. So, but it's cool.
That's okay. He's got the T-shirt, right? Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to go to Berklee. Yeah. Cool. Well, I'll yell at Scout Hall for typing that in wrong, but no big deal there. Yeah.
But
well, you got to give love to where you got your training. So.
Right on. But Felipe and I, we met back in Brazil in the mid 2000s. We did undergrad in the same university in Brazil, Unicamp.
Okay.
And since I think he got here, is his second year, I believe, right, in Cape Girardeau.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we got in touch because I've been in the States for a while, and then we just started talking about when could we get together, and I don't know, we've played together quite a few times already, and
that's awesome.
Yeah.
What is these venues you've done? Like we talked earlier, you've got EIU coming up tomorrow night, so you're playing some university tracks. Are you spending some time doing any clinician work with the students or anything like that on the outside, I guess in this case the guitar students and so forth?
Yeah, well, I was in Cape Girardeau. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'm losing track of time.
For the festival?
Yes, I did some adjudicating and helping the kids with the bands. Tomorrow, what is the deal tomorrow? I teach there as well, by the way, as an adjunct faculty at Eastern Illinois University.
Nice.
And they just got me as a guest to play with their jazz lab band. So I just got the charts today. I was working on it. So yeah, if I sound bad tomorrow, it's because of this interview.
This is my fault. I'm sorry, EIU. I interrupted his intense study for the evening.
Yeah, no, but then we're doing a little tour. Like we're doing this show tomorrow at the university, and then tomorrow is Tuesday, and then on Wednesday we're going to two elementary schools where, in fact, I teach. That's my full-time gig, is teaching music at the Arthur School District. So,
Okay.
but that's small. It's a small district, so I teach at two schools, in Lovington in the morning and Atwood in the afternoon. So it's gonna be really cool to bring like the bigger kid, the college kids, to play for the elementary
Oh
kids.
yeah.
We're
That's
looking forward to that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know who knows what kind of cool experience, you know what that might inspire with the kids. You know, some kid sees that and tomorrow says, "Dad, buy me a guitar. I got to learn how to play jazz music." You know,
Yeah, I
that's
don't want to be
awesome.
responsible for that though.
Well, hey, better guitar than trombone. He'll get more jobs. But
Oh,
apparently,
yeah.
trombone's more expensive. So there you go. But well, that's a very cool experience, not just for the kids, but for the college kids as well. I'm sure some of them inevitably are probably music ed majors. You know, maybe looking to step into that role down the road too. So
Yeah, but that's the main thing. You mentioned the main point is just like the inspiration and like for the kids. I mean, the college kids are whatever, like 10 years older than the little kids at elementary, and I'm a dinosaur by now, and so it's cool to see like this mingling of people of different ages, and
hmm
for sure, I mean the elementary kids, you can like seeing a college level band play. It sure is gonna be cool. Like I hope
yeah,
I was joking. Like I don't want to be responsible for it because music is a profession. Has depending on how you look at it, it can be tricky. But I don't really care at this point. Like I'm full. Like you know, uh, it takes a lot of passion, and you can't think too much about the mundane aspects of it, I guess.
yeah. Well, and I think, and you can correct me on this, but you've got a perspective of as an educator and as a performer that really rounds out your experience as a musician because I think a lot of people, the real artsy musicians, they just want to pour it out. They just want to play, they just want to perform, they just want to write. That's it. As far as, you know, when they're dead, if you didn't listen to the albums, you might not have picked it up. And then you've got the musicians who want to, you know, follow what we've been doing for millennia of passing the song down, passing the skill down, you know, and teaching the next generation how to do that. And so when you can bring those two things together, still engage and create and be an artist, but also stay grounded and be able to deliver that education, I think that is what makes a really well-rounded musician.
No, I agree. I agree too. Yeah, it's like, and also like when you're teaching, you're also looking at your material from different perspectives. You're seeing people struggle with something that I see that all the time. Like one kid struggling with something that I've struggled with in the past. So I have
hmm
to think about how did I overcome that, and yeah, it's cool. And also yeah, there's no such a thing of being like an artist on the pedestal. You know, like oh I'm like no, I'm there every day, like 7 a.m. Uh, I mean, of course, there's the we. It's I honestly maybe if I was like in a recording company or something, like if the music business industry was in a different level, I don't know, probably I'll just teach for free. I'll teach
Yeah.
less, you know, and
hmm
play more. But right, it's okay. Like the way things are, like it's I'm trying to find a balance, because I like
Right.
playing a lot. So I play as much as humanly possible, and sometimes that's to the breaking point. Um, but yeah, it's cool to be there, like and teach every day too. It's all
Yeah.
good.
Yep. So let's talk a little bit about your music, your style. You know, we've had a taste of this Brazilian influence into these underground jazz movements, and a lot of that, that South American, that vibe, that beat, that drive that you get of that. How do you convey Brazilian style and South American style jazz as a guitarist?
Uh-huh. That's a good question because I don't know, the guitar, even in jazz, is not like a mainstream instrument.
hmm
If you name whatever, like the 30 most important musicians in jazz history, I don't know, you might find one or two guitar players, definitely more saxophone players, more piano players,
Yeah, too
trombone.
many saxophone players. It's terrible.
Oh, but they're great. What can we do?
Yep.
But yeah, with the Brazilian, I mean, I guess with my connection with Brazilian music, guitar in Brazil, especially the acoustic guitar, not necessarily the soloist guitar, but rhythm guitar in
hmm
Brazilian music is crucial. So, and I think like Bossa Nova is probably the style that's most well known outside of Brazil, and the guitar is the center. So, and I grew up. But I see, it's funny. Like my upbringing as a musician is it's all over the place because I started playing guitar because of rock and roll, you know. So, and I only like, and I
Who
even
who who was it that made you want to pick up a guitar?
you know,
What
it's
album did you
funny.
rock out and be like, I've got to play
Well,
that?
I mean, but the beginning, it wasn't a huge passion. It wasn't. It was simply the
Okay.
fact that there was a guitar sitting at home. My dad plays a little bit, and there was a guitar there. And then they started this after school program at school, and I was like, oh, there's a guitar here, and that this. I was like, oh, maybe. And I started. I wasn't super excited about it. I wanted to be a goalie. I played soccer like crazy, and but yeah, but then it started to flip. I was like, oh, this guitar thing is kind of cool. And then I started listening to so Jimi Hendrix, Led Zeppelin, those Guns N' Roses. I had a big, and then I
Oh
remember
yeah.
Dream Theater. I stopped at Dream Theater. That was one that I stuck with for a long time.
There's your crazy technical level stuff right
For
there.
sure, for sure. And I remember one summer when I really got into guitar, that I was trying to learn this Dream Theater stuff, and I was like practicing all day, literally. I was like not doing anything else. And then it made me mad that I was like, and then I would play for people after, like
Hmm.
when I got my chops more together. And then people would say like, oh, look at this kid, he's talented. I'm like, what are you talking about? I've been practicing 20 hours a day. I'm not talented. Just, um, but yeah, but then I mean, I got more in touch with Brazilian music after actually leaving home for undergrad, because then there was a community of people like from all over the place who played jazz and who played other styles of Brazilian music. And the main guy, which this dude called named Toninho Horta, he's probably my main musical influence. Not probably, he's definitely my main musical influence. And he's from my state in Minas Gerais. And I
Okay.
left my state to do my undergrad in the state of São Paulo. It's like 5 hours away. And I remember I started listening to that music from my state and really feeling this feeling of longing, of like, feeling emotional. I was like, what is going on?
Like he was
And then,
conveying home to you.
yeah, yeah. And his guitar style is amazing. And then, in like full circle, when I finished the subject of my doctorate, it's him. It's Tony Horta. So I wrote. It was even published as a book. So, and now we're kind of friendly. Like we talk every now and
Oh,
then.
that's
So
cool.
yeah, it's really cool. So that's my main thing with Brazilian music. And then Tony Horta, he's a generation after Bossa Nova. Here, I think in the States, people know Tony Carlos Jobim for sure, and more people connect with the Bossa Nova style. But there's the
Okay.
generation after him. That's what I connect with the most, because there's a little bit of pop music in there. There's a lot of jazz influence and Brazilian music from all over, like from the north, the south, from everywhere. So composers like Tony Horta, Milton Nascimento, also from Minas, João Bosco from Minas, Ivan Lins from Rio. No, Ivan Lins was born in Minas Gerais as well, but he moved to Rio later.
Okay.
Yeah, so some names that are not like Joyce Moreno, many names that are Dori Caymmi that we don't hear so much, but I think we should, and maybe we will sometime.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think that that trend, and you mentioned that it's got a little more of the pop with the newer generation, and we heard just even from North for you, but South for us, right? But a lot of that Cuban influence down into and you started hearing guys like Pitbull, and then bringing more of the Latin American and Cuban American influence into pop culture, and more of the dance club stuff. But you'd hear it, it's a Mr. Worldwide, but everybody's dancing, and next thing you know, it's like, oh, there's a bossa feeler, there's a salsa feeler. That South American influence is in there, and that with a generation that might hear that at the club, but then is studying jazz or something, that's going to bleed over into it, and that's going to say, I enjoyed this classic solo here, but let's put some spice to it, Let's and
Yeah.
me honestly is like I'm a big New Orleans jazz, blues jazz kind of guy as a trombone player, just because you can slide a lot and not make too many mistakes. But if I'm going to sit down and listen and just really dive in on it, it's the South American jazz, like I just love it. I love the beat. I love the spice. I love the vibe. I love, that side of things. And so I'm excited to see it grow even just here with these shows. And yeah, we're being selfish because we got a good handle on things. But as you continue to play and these other artists and those names continue to grow and that scene grows, it gives me hope because I do think that the upcoming generation of jazz is really pouring into being creative with it and not just regurgitating the same 12 bar shtick, right? So
Yeah, no, that's true. That's the thing with the access of music these days. Like nobody needs, like the kids don't have to buy CDs or anything or just save money. Everything is so available, which of
it's
course is a blessing.
right there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse because then you take it for granted, right? It's just like, oh yeah, it's just John Coltrane. Like you don't. It's hard to create this worship uh, that maybe if you have to pursue this thing, you have to go to this place and well, who knows? But it's
Once it,
definitely good to have more access. Like,
yes. And you're right. Well, it's, with the digital era, it's lost its tangibility. And while we still love vinyl, you might go do this, you might pick up a CD at a show. The majority of the convenience is if they're listening, it's on a device, it's on a digital stream. And so to get that engagement, and I mean, to its credit too, I will say it's helped people find new artists. Someone
yeah,
might be streaming your stuff and get to the end of the album and it'll start suggesting similar artists. And you're like, ooh, who's that? And then you go check out this, new artist. Hopefully that might be you that they click on and check out. That's what you hope for, right? But
yeah. No, that's for sure. I mean, and there's no point in even complaining, even if like, of course,
it's
I have
not going
mixed.
anywhere.
No, exactly. I have mixed feelings about it, but in terms of access, and I mean, I just recorded the second album with my trio that we recorded last year. Last year we just recorded like at the drummer's home studio, and this year we upgraded and recorded in a studio in St. Louis. But
Oh,
still, it was
nice.
like it was accessible. It wasn't like back in the day. I have friends who spend like $20,000 making an album, which I couldn't afford right now, and this only maybe like 20 years ago. So it's everything's cheaper. It's just like I think we just need to be smart about how to use the tools that are available to us.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we talk about that. We're here using a digital tool right now to push this show. And I failed to mention this is Abstraction Spirits, which is a Missouri distillery. They are a sponsor on the show. That's some tasty stuff. I'm looking forward to a little sip. But let's talk a little bit about this show and what you've kind of got on deck, what folks can expect as they come out. The show, by the way, if you weren't here earlier, Saturday night at Scout Hall here in Cape, thescouthall.com to grab your tickets, or you can find the link. Just search the Underground Jazz or search Scout Hall on Facebook. You can find the link there. Easy to find. But let's talk about this show. It's going to be a good time, obviously.
Yeah. So Felipe contacted me a long time ago. I think when he was starting this series, we always chat back and forth, like he just picking each other's brain on whatever we're trying to do next. And I remember when he was putting this together, we talked about it, and then yeah, and then a little later had this set up for a long time. Felipe is really on top of his game. Like he's
Yes,
very organized dude. Yeah. So
I
not the
agree.
stereotype. I don't know. I guess I don't know how. I think Brazilians still get a reputation of being lazy or whatever. I don't know.
I have not met a lazy Brazilian yet. I will say that, and I've met
I
several.
can
So
I can't speak for myself, but
yeah,
Felipe is on top of his stuff. But so anyways, he invited me a long time ago, and I thought about putting. I invited a really great organ player from St. Louis. I don't remember how did it come about. If Felipe maybe mentioned he wanted the piano, and I was like, I'm always thinking of the logistics side of things. Like, man, if we hire a piano player and a bass player, we're not gonna make any money. So let's get this dude who plays organ, so he can play the harmony and the bass lines, and he sounds incredible. His name's Bob Rao. He plays in St. Louis all over, and yeah, and it's close to you guys, so it's a shorter drive. So
yeah.
it's him and the drummer who plays on my trio regularly. His name is Jay Ferguson. He's a lawyer in Central Illinois, and he also makes his own drums. He's like an unusual guy.
Yeah, just little habits. Good
Yeah.
gravy.
So
Yeah,
and that's the group, and
that's
then
cool.
and with Felipe. So yeah, we're pretty like the set list is gonna be like some jazz standards and some Brazilian stuff that you might not heard otherwise. We're looking, but I mean, it's gonna be. It's not like a classical thing that it's all. It's gonna be very organic. It's gonna be like a whatever 80% of what you're gonna hear, we don't know what's gonna be. Like
Going to
it's
be
gonna
improvisational. Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be depending on whoever is there, the vibe that they bring.
Yes. Well, that's perfect fit for the room. I know.
Right
So,
on.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Again, the show is this Saturday night. Doors are at 7. Show starts at 7:30. There are single tickets. There are tables available. You can find the details at thescouthall.com. And I'm excited about it. I know our jazz crew is excited about it. The last month's Jazz Underground, it was the weekend of the festival. I know that one sold out. I'm sure this one's selling great, and I know we're going to have a packed room full of people eager to hear your talents.
Right on. We're eager to play. Yeah.
Outstanding. My guest today, Jose Gobbo. He is going to be hanging out with us at Scout Hall Saturday night, and that's going to mark it for another Humans in Tune segment for 93.9 Mike FM. I'm Darren Bergfield. I appreciate you guys hanging out. We will catch you on the next Humans in Tune. Keep an eye on our Facebook page at 939 Mike FM, and we'll see you then for the next one.
Thanks for catching this Humans in Tune conversation with 93.9 Mike FM. Find previous interviews on our Facebook page, or you can listen via our podcast at 939mikefm.com.